Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 292nd installment of the Torah portion of the week. We're holding Parshas Terumah. Parshas Terumah, all about building the Mishkan. Tabernacle, as it's known. Talking about a tabernacle being the resting place for God, for God's presence. You got the ark, the cover, the table, the menorah, the covers of the tabernacle, the walls of the tabernacle, the partition of the tabernacle, the altar, the courtyard. I mean, plenty of what to speak about. The Torah says, chapter 25, verse 18. Torah says, 25, verse 16. As the Torah says, you should place in the ark, testimonial tablets that I shall give you. Right? In other words, you're going to put the ark inside. It's going to be testimony. Can be used for testimony. Over here says, Rebbe, Arav Agon Moshe should be well. And it brings down in Chochmah V'das, in his commentary on Chumash, and he says that the Luchos, the Torah itself, the stones, tablets, as they are known, go in the Aron. Right? In other words, the tablets went in the Aron closed. And they were never read from. Never used them. Right? It's kind of a wonder. Like, okay, understand. They're placed in there, they're there to be guarded, but they're never used. So Rebbe says, why is that testimony? Why is the Aron, the ark, why is it called testimony? Over here. Rashi explains that the Torah itself is a testimony between me and you. God says. So Rebbe says, what's going on? This needs further clarification. How is the Torah, the tablets, sitting in the ark? It's not being used. How is that testimony? Right? That's the question. How is that testimony over here? So Rebbe says, no, it really is testimony. Why? Even though the tablets are closed up in the ark, right, they're not being used. Where are they found? Where are the tablets essentially found? They're in the Holy of Holies, the country Kedoshim. That's where they're found. No one's allowed to go there. Right? No one's allowed to enter there. So they're placed there without any change. Right? No one goes in there. Nobody touches it. It stays there. Doesn't get touched. So Rebbe says, that's testimony to everybody that the Torah should never be changed. Torah not allowed to change. Because the Torah itself, Rebbe says, is the Hashem is Baruch Shemoi. These are the words of the living God. And God's words don't change. If you would take the Sefer Torah out, let's say, and it's used, maybe a person will say, I can change it. I'll put in my own ideas. But the fact that the Torah is found in the Holy of Holies, right? The Torah is placed there, doesn't change. For all generations. And we don't change anything. And it stays forever. And God's word stays forever. What's going on here? The Torah itself, Rebbe says, the luchos, the tablets, they go in the ark. If the tablets go in the ark, let me use them. Let me read from them. But what's the whole point? They're in the ark. Where is the ark? Holy of Holies. No one's allowed to go in. I mean, except the high priest goes once a year on Yom Kippur, but no one's allowed in. So the Torah itself, you'd say, what's the point? The Torah's all locked up. If the Torah's all locked up, you can't use it. Why is it called testimony? Oh, the Rebbe says, you know why? You know why it's called testimony over here? Because once the Torah is there, it gives testimony. In fact, it doesn't change. Not 1 inch. Doesn't change. Now, I've heard people say, we should be innovative. Change it like this, change it like that. Take this out, take that out. Make Torah more suitable for the masses. Okay, I'll be a little bit open-minded now, which I don't, I'm normally not. But let's say we'll entertain the possibility. So if I take things out that I don't like, they don't fit my world outlook, my agenda, does that draw more people? Are more people flocking to the Reform conservative movements because of all these innovations? What do you see? Both movements are dying. Synagogues closing left and right because you can't pass it down. As we always say, a mule is a tremendously strong animal. A mule is a hybrid between a donkey and a horse. There's only one problem. There's only one problem with the mule. Sterile. Mule cannot reproduce. The Reform movement cannot reproduce. The conservative movement cannot reproduce. The only movement that can produce is the Orthodox. Because you live it. You believe it. You pass it down to your kids. So, of course, you get a much greater chance of passing it down. But the bottom line, we don't fiddle around over here. The Torah is not made out of Play-Doh or silly putty. Torah doesn't change. Right? Someone told me, you're Orthodox, you're fanatics, you're off the deep end, bunch of nutcases. You won't even hug someone of the opposite sex if they're 90 years old. Do you know what the answer is? Well, the answer I gave somebody. What's the best way to pass Torah down to the next generation? What's the best way in order that there won't be intermarriage? Answer: the Torah way. The Torah way works by leaps and bounds. Everything else is a failure, disaster. So the person said, you're right. That's the only way. Old school. That's the only way. They admit it. Totally admit it. But at the same time, they're still a fanatic. Still give me a hug. Why are you such a fanatic? Again, not a personal thing. Torah says you can't. So who are you allowed to hug? Brother allowed to hug the mother, father, child, grandchild. That's it. Everyone else is forbidden. What if they're past menopause? So what? Doesn't matter. Forbidden. So at the same time, someone admits that that's the only way to pass Judaism down. But at the same time, he said you can't be a fanatic. You can't have both ways. If that's the only way to pass it down, then you do what it says. You do exactly what the Torah says. And if you veer off, you make it up as you go along. It's a 5-year option to renew. What's the end result? Disaster. 60, 70% intermarriage, higher, different places. Disaster. Tamar Rebbe says, that's the Edus. That's a testimony that the Torah doesn't change. Torah doesn't change. And even if theory, you would tell me it's going to bring more people to synagogue and you can pass it down, We'll have a discussion. Because you would think the more you change, the better it is. The more people are going to come. No, it's after. Remember many years ago, there were synagogues, want to bring more people to synagogue. So what would they do? They said, bring Friday night into Shabbos. They had this whole campaign getting people to come to synagogue on Shabbos. Playing instruments, other things. So they brought a lot of people, very good, and then what? And then what? There's a Talmudic dictum. The Talmudic dictum says, mitzvah ba'aveira. You can't do a mitzvah at the same time you're transgressing. So here you're going to say, hey, bring people to Shabbos, and they're transgressing. Listen to music, play music, whatever. So in theory, if you could show me it works and you can pass it down, okay. Now someone will say, how do I know it's supposed to be passed down? How do I know the Torah is forever? Because Torah tells me. Torah tells me many times it's forever. It's not a 5-year option to renew. I feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. We believe it's 100% true. It doesn't change. That's what the conservative movement's all about. Right? You got to change. You got to change with the times. Can't always be so strict. Yeah, where are they today? Pretty much vanished. I mean, there are conservative synagogues. They're all, life support. Many of them. Because you can't pass down a feeling. There are Jews, very, very strong Jewish feeling. Can't give that over to your kids. A lot of times the kids won't get it. Why? Because the kids will say, you like chocolate, I like vanilla. Maybe I like peppermint stick. How are you going to change them to eat chocolate if they don't like it? So a Torah without mitzvahs is like a body without a soul. It's like the meat and potatoes of what Torah is. It's learning. It's oral law. Keeping the mitzvahs. And if you don't keep the mitzvahs, right, you give your kids bar mitzvah, okay, or more bar than mitzvah. You give them, all the physical things in the world. You give nothing spiritually, they're going to be dead spiritually. So have the bar mitzvah, get some money, have a fancy party, and that's it. That's where the Judaism ends. You got to live it. It's got to be real. And if you don't learn about it and it's not real, game over. Game over. So what you're saying, even if the Torah is not used, right? You're not going to use the Torah in the Holy of Holies, these tablets. But its testimony, it doesn't change. And that's a good thing. Because when something is solid, you don't need innovation. The Torah would sell itself. So people ask the question. They're going to learn with the study partner doesn't know very much. So they say, what do you learn? What should I teach them? What should I learn with them? So learn Torah. Yeah, but maybe they won't be into this, they won't be into that. What's the bottom line? Torah sells itself. You don't have to talk about Kabbalah. You don't talk about, homiletic things and deep things. No. All we have to do is just show the logic. Just show how it makes sense. How the lifestyle makes sense. People will say, yeah, the person's got a lot of kids. Right? And they'll say, no guarantee. Right? I love how people say this like it's a curse. No guarantee for your kids. Okay. No guarantee. They're going to turn out the way you want. True. But if I don't give them the opportunity to succeed, they'll fail in spiritual terms. They go to Hebrew school a couple days a week. No one's really into it. That's not giving them a fair chance. They have to learn. And they have to live it. And if they don't live it, and it's just like an intellectual thing, Why are they going to keep it? Always, I'll tell people, you're right. Kids will choose what they want. Even if they go through the best system, they'll choose what they want. They got free choice. No one's putting a gun to their head saying, keep this or die. Right? They have free choice. Because, hey, but you didn't open their mind. You only taught them Torah. Well, what else should we teach them? Garbage? Trying to convince boys that they're girls and girls that they're boys. You got to give them a fair chance. Yeah, we'll make a 7-year-old. Let him make his own decision. I'm going to make his own decision. Got to teach him. Got to teach her. Won't discriminate here. But you got to give them a fair chance to succeed. Oh, they learned in Hebrew school. Yeah. 2 hours a week for a year. Or more. Actually, many more years. Right? They learn for a number of years. Okay, so what do they really learn? What do they really learn? Nothing. Nothing's going to get my love for Judaism. Most people went to Hebrew school, hated Hebrew school. I was one of the exceptions. Okay. Most people hated Hebrew school. So turn them off. They come to synagogue. They have no idea what's going on. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is all about opera. Listening to the cantor sing and sing. They don't get anything. They don't get anything. But if you live in it, you have Shabbos every week, get all the different holidays, participate, you have to build the sukkah, pick out a lulav, and answer all these things. You got what to look forward to. Passover cleaning, a lot of fun. Probably the highlight of the year. You got Purim. Purim's a lot of fun. Kids have, a lot of fun. But that's what it should be. Should enjoy it. They should live. They should love what they do. It's not all just doom and gloom. Do it or, you're going to fly in hell forever. But you got to give them an opportunity. So we're all these open-minded secularists. Give an opportunity to learn. Oh, I would never do that. It's brainwashing. Yeah, there are a lot of people's brains need to be washed. It's not a terrible thing. But give them an opportunity. Oh, I would never do that. But I had someone tell me, you should be so open-minded, your kids should go to university. Send them to college. I said, I got a great idea. I'll send my kids to college. You send your 2 boys to yeshiva. Oh, I would never do that. I guess you're not that open-minded. Oh, it's a cult. Really? You know what a cult is? I know people throw these things outside. It's cultish. Right? They keep you all up all night. They don't let you think for yourself. You get brainwashed. This brainwashing? We believe it's the truth. Anyone wants to, they can leave. We're not forcing people. You're going to say, where are they going to go? They have all kinds of opportunities. They have to be stuck here. There are people that opt out. Okay. Not a high percentage, but there are. Okay. But the more you allow things in to change it, the worse off you are. How do I know? Because statistics show with all these different groups, it doesn't work. Torah can't be passed down. Right? If Torah can't be passed down, there wasn't hope. Wasn't hope. Totally doesn't help. And if you can show me you're going to make all these innovations and it would, okay, we'll have a discussion. But there's no discussion. There's no discussion. So the testimony of the of the tablets, and even if they're not used, it says Moiva Rebbe, that's the greatest testimony. The fact that the Torah doesn't change. And when we keep the Torah as it is, and the way it should be, then that's the way you're going to pass Torah down to the next generation. So I want to remind everyone, I have a class on duties of the heart every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Tuesday and Thursday, I have Q&As. I do 10 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Israel time. Saturday, Perkei Avos, Ethics of Our Fathers, 2 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Israel time. Sunday, Book of Leviticus, chapter 16, 9 o'clock Eastern time. 4 o'clock Israel time. No Hide Nations, No Hide Laws, Sunday, 2:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Israel time. Conversion classes. Anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman or Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism. You can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RABBICHAIMCOFFMAN @gmail.com.